Okay!
Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
Peace. This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. Back before I started going live, myself and my brothers, Brother Kahreee and Brother Karriem, were doing builds. And I want to present these builds to the listening audience. These are throwback builds, probably like from 2020, 2021. And a lot of the information is pertinent to this very moment. So I want to present this information to the listening audience. Peace. This is the enemy's public, and I am Bro.Nasir. I have some company today. My two brothers who are teammates on the enemy's public. And we're going to speak about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Saturday, July 4th, 2020 address. And we're going to speak about the remarks by Jake Tapper and the Super Negro Brandon Tatum. I would just like first for my brothers to introduce themselves. Start with my brother from to the left.
Peace. My name is Brother Kahreee, and this is the enemy's public.
Peace. My name is Brother Karriem, and this is the enemy's public.
Now, the other day, Jake Tapper, when he heard that Fox Soul was going to stream the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's address on Saturday, July 4th, 2020, he referred to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as a misogynistic, homophobe. He referred to him as a hater of the LGBTQ, and he called the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan anti-Semitic. I would just like to get my brother's insight on these remarks. Brother Kahreee.
Well, first of all, how can he even have the audacity to even say anything about Minister Farrakhan? Minister Farrakhan has been the sole voice of Black America.
Yes, sir.
Of humanity, for that matter.
Yes, sir.
For over the past 45, 46 years.
Yes, sir.
That he's been teaching. And for him to spew these type of rhetoric about our brother is totally incorrect, false. How can you even fix his lips to say that the minister is misogynic?
Yeah, that's a good question, brother.
How
Good
can he even
question.
fix his lips to say that? Coming from the perspective of a CNN correspondent whose platform is based on being misogynistic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the anti-Semitic part, brother, that's a crazy part.
Bruh, how can you be anti-you? The last time I checked and studied is that in order for you to be anti-Semitic, that comes from a black origin,
Yes, sir.
and descendants have African roots.
Mm-hmm.
That's like saying I'm anti-me.
Yes, sir.
How can you be anti-you?
Yes, sir.
See, the problem with that is that they use these terms and try to flip it on us and make it as if though they're theirs, but it's ours.
Yes, sir.
There's a story that was told some time ago that I hear Beloved talking about the truth
Okay.
and the lie.
Yes, sir.
Both went swimming in the sea. They went, took a dip in the pool, went to go swimming. So the truth took off all his clothes and he went and he dove in, started swimming. The lie saw his clothes and took the truth clothes and was running ever since.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now you have a well-dressed up lie proposing
Yes, sir.
as the truth
Yes, sir. Teach.
until the truth finally caught up with him. The naked truth caught up with that well-dressed up lie and then started exposing them.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
now you uncovered it.
Yes,
See,
sir.
what we're in is a time of where we hurl truth at falsehood until we knock out his brains. And falsehood is a forever vanishing thing. And this is what's happening now, today. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to stop our brother. They're trying everything that they can to stop the brother from delivering or from people watching the message of our brother that's going to be on July 4th. Happy Independence Day.
Yes, sir. Brother Karriem,
Yes, sir.
can you elaborate, beloved?
I guess he get a really good paycheck.
Yes, sir.
This is true.
Yes,
This
sir.
is true.
The paycheck brings about the art of deception, and he's willing to pay the price for that. So he probably get a pretty good paycheck. And that's how I view it, because as we're taught that we have a respect for life,
Yes, sir.
and if we have a respect for life, that's what our ministers charge, is to tell people that you should have a respect for life.
Yes, sir.
And basically that is his upbringing, and that's what he delivers to the people. So the order of the enemy is always to deceive the people,
Yes, sir.
to disrespect life.
Yes, sir.
And the way they disrespect life is by using words that are taking people astray, opposed to gravitate them towards the truth. So his whole job is to work for that paycheck.
Yes, sir.
Because there's money behind it. Because they're the rich slave makers of the poor. They keep us blind to ourselves so that they can continue on master. Once we come into the knowledge of ourselves and our true selves, they lose the power. So the art of deception is what he's all about. So anytime he try to take us away from the exposure, that's because they don't want to hear the truth.
Yes, sir.
If there was no fear, they wouldn't even comment on it. They'll allow him to do whatever he do because it wouldn't stand, like the brother said. When the truth catches up with the lie, right, which he's going to catch up with the lie,
yes, sir.
And he's going to expose. So all they want to do is turn off the light.
Yes, sir.
Because they don't want the truth to be seen.
Yes, sir.
That's how I view it.
Yeah.
I really don't know much about the man, but I know he's working for a paycheck.
Yes, sir.
And this whole thing is the art of deception.
Now, Mayor de Blasio, the mayor of New York City, just announced that he was going to paint a Black Lives Matter mural in front of Trump Plaza.
Yeah.
And Trump Plaza, they already painted one on the National Mall in Washington, D.C.
Oh,
and Donald Trump said, why would he desecrate a classy area with a symbol of hate?
Wow.
Can you please, Brother Kahreee, elaborate on Donald Trump referring to a Black Lives Matter mural as a symbol of hate?
Well, I think it's kind of self-explanatory, but that shows you the mindset of such man, of such people.
Yes, sir.
See, because he's supposed to be their president. He's the people's president. If just a simple term, Black Lives Matter, offends him so much to where he think is hate, just imagine if he were in power, if they were in power no more, and blacks were in power. He looks at it as being hate. How do you think black people feel about what we've undergone for over 460 years?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Our life, we saying is Black Lives Matter, not no other lives matter, but we concerned about ours.
Yes,
because we never
yes, sir.
were looked at as a total people.
Yes, sir.
In the Constitution, it said we was only 3/5 as a human being.
Yes, sir.
We were looked at as merchandise. Still are looked at as merchandise.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
what
sir.
he's saying.
Yes, sir.
We're merchandise.
In order for anyone to fix their mouths to say anything about Beloved speaking on Saturday,
Yes, sir.
that means that they feel like, okay, I have the initiative and I have a right to speak about it. I have a right to tell black people who they should listen to. That's what that means when Jake Tapper says that. And for Donald Trump to say that Black Lives Matter is a symbol of hate, that's coming from someone who don't think Black Lives matter.
Period.
Cut and dry.
Period.
Like when we say Black Lives Matter and white people say all lives matter, that is wickedness. Because if you look at the history, white people have been shown emphatically that their lives matter.
All the time.
And when we say consider us in
It's
our
hate.
lives,
It's hate.
it's hate. That's crazy.
But you know what teaches us, right? That they are 100% unable for us to live with. We can't live with them.
Yes, sir.
We have to separate.
Yes, sir.
And there's going to actually be a time of division that's coming soon. You're going to have to divide yourself.
Yes, sir.
You're not going to be able to straddle the fence as you may any longer.
Indeed.
People may want racial harmony and stuff to come, but I don't think we're going to get it. As long as you have a person that's in power that still thinks the same way that he thinks.
Yes, sir.
And don't be fooled by thinking that he's the only one or he's just an idiot, because trust me,
Oh, no.
there's a lot of them out there that feel the same exact way that he feel,
Yes, sir.
but he's the mouthpiece. They won't say it,
Yes, sir.
but they feel that exact same way.
Well, I think he's the reason why they're chest out with it. That's what I think. That's my sense.
For a lot of them.
Yes, sir.
You see these militias starting to form even more now, Bill.
Yes, sir.
More Ku Klux Klan members are starting to, their numbers are starting to increase. And from what I hear, brothers and sisters, be careful out there during this 4th of July, because there's a word that's coming out that just came out by the Huey P. Newton Gun Club.
Yes, sir.
That stated that militias are starting to give up in places and they're going to start attacking brothers and sisters. So be careful and mindful of your surroundings when you're out there, if you happen to be traveling on the 4th. Now, the only thing that's good about it is it's still social distancing and you can't really be in numbers. But if you see garbage cans, try to stay away from them things, because they've been known to take bombs and of that sort and put them into the garbage cans,
Yeah.
and they blow up and they have nails and stuff that's inside of them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's like a grenade.
No way to trace it.
Yeah, no
That's
way to
what
trace
the
it,
human
but
being-
then that thing spreads out, man, and goes for distances.
Yeah,
That's
multiple
called
It can
issues.
harm. Multiple people can
Yes,
get
sir.
hurt and
That's
get harmed,
malicious.
and you're out there with your children. So be careful. If at all, if you need to be, keep it local. Stay home.
Yes, sir.
Know and understanding what your surroundings are, and don't get caught up out there
That's
for these type of things, because
that's a good segue to my next question. There's a young man who I sincerely think has taken the place of former Sheriff David Clark. His name is Brandon Tatum. He's a former Tucson, Arizona police officer who he resigned, and now he works for a media corporation that he goes around and he offset everything that black people talks about, and I think he's really dangerous to our well-being, because he's a man who is a apologist, and he think that there's a comfortable place for him in white supremacy. At least he's looking for it anyway. Now, Brandon Tatum said that we should forgive our 500-year enemy for their transgressions against us. We should give the police where they murder us. He said that God wanted him to give us a message of forgiveness for our oppressor. And forgiveness is good for us. My sentiment is we're always on the forgiving end, and we're always being the ones who's the victims. Brother Karriem, can you please elaborate on that situation?
Yes, sir. When you say forgiveness, my question will be, okay, now you forgive, where do you go from there?
Yes, sir.
And if you cannot answer me in which direction where we're going from there, then that would probably be the end of our conversation.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm talking about freedom, justice, and equality. And if there's no freedom in whatever you're saying, and there's no justice in whatever you're saying, then there's no need for me to continue having a conversation with you.
Yes, sir.
Because for somewhere you're lost, but to speak on it, beloved, to speak on it is his token, which I can't tell a person who to love, exemplifies that he has a companion, that he has to show that he's a caregiving person, which is he's in the need for comfort,
Yes, sir.
which wants him to be accepted in a society. It's almost like he's putting himself to sleep, hoping that he'll wait to be at some place where he'll never be.
Yes, sir.
So he thinks that the more people he can get, the more he'll be accepted in the place where it's like trying to be accepted in the place where a person don't want you.
Okay, sort of like that mistreated dog that's loyal to the master.
Yes, sir. So
Yes, sir.
when you see people of that nature, and then I believe you were sharing that he said he was a revolutionist.
Yeah, he said he used to be pro-black.
If he's taking heed to what I'm asking him, put out some of your revolutions so I can see where you went wrong. Because my job is to lead you back on the course, not to be here belittling you. Because I want to see where you went wrong.
Yes, sir.
Because all our ancestors who are crying out from the grave, who sacrificed their life, how can you abandon that
Yes, sir.
for a token?
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Because who he's sweethearting with lets us know why he's behaving the way he's
Yeah,
behaving.
and you said, and another thing you were sharing earlier about Mr. Trump, right? His job is to create havoc.
Yes, sir.
That's his job. And he's showing America and the people around the world that to be a president, you can be a fool.
Definitely lowered the bar of who can be president.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So he said this is a foolish country. He's showing the world that American people allow fools to take charge. Which again,
Yes, sir.
when a man like Minister Farrakhan says, have respect for life.
Yes,
Respect for life. Because his
Mhm.
message is not just for us. This is why he's talking. I would like to
Everybody,
speak to
brother.
the world.
Everybody.
Because if you have a respect for life, then you have a respect for why God give you the ability to live.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? If you put poison in your body, more than likely you're gonna die.
Indeed.
So the world's been misled by poison for many of years. So
Yes, sir.
he's coming with a refined message
Yes, sir.
so that we can be cleansed. And hopefully those who obey can have a respect for life and they have longevity.
Yes, sir.
Opposed of the storm that's coming. But there's a storm coming. The
Yeah.
pandemic is only
Yes, sir.
an example of the storm.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's only you know what I'm saying? And this here, like Brother Kyle was sharing, the message that since the warner comes to warn the people.
Yes, sir.
We've been warned for years, and as we study history, Sodom and Gomorrah, all these signs, like we were sharing earlier, is in fruition now.
Yes,
You
sir.
cannot go back to saying that you can't see it.
Yes,
It's
sir.
before you right now.
Yes.
So
sir.
you need a Donald Trump. I seen on the news just a few minutes ago that we got the pandemic under control. You can't control people.
Yes, sir.
Brother.
Yes, sir.
You cannot control
Yes,
people.
sir.
If people want to walk out there with no masks on and you tell them to put the masks on and people are not following, how are you saying something's under control? See how stupid he is?
Yeah, that is
That's
stupid.
real stupid.
That's really.
But
really
his job
stupid.
is to deceive the people.
At the same time, wake the people up. Because if you look at what's transpired for the past 12 years, Barack Obama lulled the people to sleep, thinking we're living in a post-racial society.
Mhm.
And Donald Trump came and let us know emphatically that we're not.
That's right.
Cut and dry.
That's right. Cut and dry. How can you say you think the Nazis, who are about causing confusion, fighting and killing amongst people, that you have a respect for them, and then you're going to say Black lives don't matter?
Yeah, basically.
So, and you are our leader, and you represent this type of stuff to the world?
You love it.
Brother,
You have
come on,
people
man.
saying that Donald Trump has done more for Black people than any president. How audacious is that?
He did. You want to know what he did?
Yes, sir.
He exposed us to say that they don't give a damn about us.
Yes, sir.
He showed us.
He-
And that's all I need.
How
He
they
did
really
a
feel
lot.
about us, brother.
That's all I need.
When
I need to come out of denial.
when you see it, when you see
You know what
it,
I mean?
when you see it
I'm
like
sorry.
that, brother,
Yeah, he
you
showed
are
us,
seeing
brother.
a crystal
Yeah.
Picture, brother.
Come out of denial.
man.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
your life don't matter. Come out of
Because
denial.
because when you see something that happened a few years ago, I forgot where it was at. It was down in North Carolina somewhere, where it was a protest and somebody drove into the crowd
Yes, sir.
and a white woman died.
Yes, sir.
A white woman died, and he said it was good people on both sides.
Brother, we wake up every morning, right? With a mission, right?
Yes, sir.
The mission is to go to work, go earn a living,
Yes,
come
sir.
back home, put food on our table,
Yes, sir.
clothes on our children's back.
Yes, sir.
But then you gonna tell me my whole day didn't matter.
Yes, sir.
And I'm doing the same thing everybody else in America is
Yes,
supposed to
sir.
be doing, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'm not breaking laws. I'm not out here robbing, stealing, causing confusion. I'm trying to be a good Samaritan,
Yes, sir.
you know? Good morning. Good morning, Caucasian. Good morning, Indian. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Right?
Yes, sir.
Because I need a peaceful day. Yeah. Why should I bring harm onto I'm a civilized person. Why should I go in there? Later for you, cracker. Later for you, Indian. That is not a civilized person.
That's not our mentality.
And that's not the way to address issues.
No, it's not.
We should not get emotionally involved. We should handle situations, which I have done, and I had to learn from that.
Yes, sir.
Getting emotionally involved, I'm not speaking on facts. I'm speaking from an emotion.
Yes,
opposed to, and when you do that, you can't see things clearly.
Yes,
because
sir.
you're too emotionally involved. So you got to take a step back, man, and know how to conduct. So what he does is he wants the people to get emotionally involved in stuff that he, provoke. He's a provoter.
Yeah, he's a
provocateur.
provocateur.
And what it is he's sending messages to those people who are willing to die for what they believe in.
Yes, sir.
Because they ain't had nothing to lose.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I strongly share that sentiment. Now, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is going to be speaking on Saturday, July 4th. I just want to keep reminding people drilling at home.
Yes. Yes.
Saturday, July 4th, 2020, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Everybody just, tune in and receive instruction. Just know that our enemy don't want us to watch, but I guarantee they'll be watching. They'll be watching. They don't want us. They don't want us to receive the instruction that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is going to give us.
That's right.
And that's why we'll have Jake Tapper, the JDL and the ADL calling for Fox Soul to pull the string. Now, my sentiment is that should be a deal breaker with any brother and sister working for Fox Soul.
Right.
It should be a deal breaker. Yeah, I wouldn't want to have a program that they tell me who I can't have on my program.
Absolutely.
I'm not living like that, because that's a master slave relationship.
Absolutely.
And they get mad at us when we say they run Hollywood, and you see this. They make a phone call, they make a statement, and they get a stream pulled from, the most anticipated, the most important address in this century. Because if you look at what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in his Savior's Day address, the unraveling of America, and you look and you see the atmosphere today, they don't want his added truth combined with what these young people are doing. Because young people love the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And everywhere I go, people want to know what he's thinking, the instruction he's going to give.
That's right.
That's what everybody wants to know. And that's what our enemy are afraid of. And that's why they'll set up, hurdles, nondescript Negroes like a Brandon Tatum, or Sheriff David Clark, or anybody who would try to offset our rise. My brother Karree, we had a talk, and it's not literal, but it will become literal. Negroes cannot jump in front of our guns when we aim them at our enemy. One day, we're going to have to shoot you, because you are a deterrent, and you are in the way
of our salvation.
In the way Negroes have to go. Some of these Negroes, brother, we can spare.
Brother.
Yes, sir.
It's even powerful than a gun.
Mm-hmm.
wanna know why?
I didn't mean
Because
that literally.
we-
That's why I
yes,
said I didn't mean it
yes,
literally.
sir.
I didn't mean it literally.
We summon rain, sleet, snow,
Hell,
and
Yes, sir.
earthquakes, brother.
Yes, sir.
We gave, through God's permission, they lived under the grace.
Yes, sir.
The expiration of the grace has an expiration date.
Yes, sir.
It's always been. God was so merciful, even in our lessons, He gave them more time.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
The pandemic is not something of some mysterious.
No, sir.
In order to humble a person, the God had to send something to humble the world so that they can hear.
Yes, sir.
And guess what they did? They opened up a way for Minister Farrakhan to address them so that they would have to listen. You
Yes,
understand
sir.
what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because he is a divine man for the time.
Yes, sir.
He has been on the course. His word. They say, how can you tell if a man is a man of God? Because everything that he begins to express to the people in the prediction of things,
Yes,
or
sir.
he's prophesying
Yes, sir.
things to come,
Yes, sir.
and then Allah comes and backs him,
Yes, sir.
that's when you know that he's a man of God.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, if you say that he was telling us about the unraveling
Yes, sir.
of what's going to happen,
Yes,
and
sir.
it begins to start happening, the God is summoning him.
Yes,
So
sir.
why wouldn't you think that he's in tune with God? Because God giving him a message to bring the people out of this thing.
Yes, sir.
And they got to be sitting at home, social distancing, and they don't need no outside influence. You need to focus on what is needed to be spoken to the heart.
The message, brother.
Getting yourself right.
Getting yourself right.
Yes,
Because
sir.
we all fall short.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
therefore,
sir.
the only way we can be all refined and turn back, he said, if by my people hear my words,
Yes, sir.
surrender, turn around, seek my face,
Yes,
right,
sir.
which is the creator,
Yes, sir.
then and only then I'll heal the land.
Yes, sir.
Right?
That's right.
Yes,
And
sir.
he said, and I think in the Quran it talks about our people, right?
Go
The
ahead,
people
brother.
must change the condition of their thinking.
Yes,
So
sir.
he needs someone to tell us how to do that. When we talked about that cat talking about forgiveness,
Yes, sir.
where do you go from there?
Yes, sir.
If he can't answer that, then
Don't
he
talk
needs to
about it.
shell the hell out.
Yes, sir.
Move out the way.
Yes, sir.
Sit your ass at the television.
Yes, sir.
Listen to Minister Farrakhan.
Receive instruction.
Receive instruction.
Receive instruction.
Am I making sense?
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Whole
sir.
lot of sense, brother.
Yes, sir.
These what they're afraid of
Mm-hmm.
is not only the exposure, but they're afraid of that when Minister Farrakhan addresses them, that he's going to lay down what the criteria of what God wants.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And can they receive it from a black man?
They're not going
Being
to have
racist.
They're not
They don't have
much of a
choice.
choice.
They don't have a choice.
They don't have a
They don't have
choice,
But the
choice in the
pandemic tells everybody to sit
Right.
still.
They don't
Yes,
have a
sir.
choice in the matter.
Don't have a choice, brother.
Tells
You have a
everybody to sit
pandemic,
still.
see, but that's just first stages of how things happen.
Either they humble themselves or they put in a more humble position.
Scripture tells us that every knee is going to bow,
And our
Yes,
messages said,
right?
accept thyself.
And every
Yes, sir.
tongue is going to confess.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
The message said, accept thyself or suffer the consequences.
It says, "Come out of her, my people, and be ye not
So
one
many things he said. Yes, sir.
partaker, brother,
Yes, sir, brother.
of her plagues
So,
and sins, man."
Anybody that's taking heed of what we're trying to express, man,
But look,
it's not that we're trying to win you over. We're trying to
no,
give
truth
you
is truth.
good food.
No, truth is truth.
Yeah, we're trying to give you good food.
Yes,
We're
sir.
trying to give you some nourishment.
Yes, sir.
There's no denying. There's no denying truth.
That's right.
I mean, you
Gotta
know,
learn how to eat to live.
truth,
Bruh.
truth don't run around saying, believe me. It's gonna be the truth whether you believe it or not.
It's gonna
That's
happen.
right.
So you might as well go ahead and
It's
accept
gonna
it.
happen.
Yes. It's sufficient by itself.
Yes, sir. Brother gave the perfect analogy and story about truth.
That's right.
By itself, naked.
Right.
Yes, sir.
In its purest form.
Yes, sir.
Not dressed up, posing as the truth.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Cut and dry.
Yeah,
I mean, this is where we're at.
yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And with Tatum, this guy is just He's in denial of himself.
Yes, sir.
I mean, he's in straight denial of
Mhm.
himself. And by using his topic, talking about what does God want,
Drinking poison.
bruh. When we look at the scripture,
Mhm.
if that's what the base on which he's coming from,
Go
Yes,
ahead,
sir.
brother. I see
if
where
he's
you're
coming
going.
from scripture references,
Mhm.
what happened during the time of Noah?
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Noah taught, man, over 100 of years
Yes,
for
sir.
the people to come in
Mhm.
out of the storm and built the ark and gave them a way out.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
They still didn't listen.
Mhm.
The clouds were steady forming.
They were laughing, making
They
mockery. They thought
at that time they
Sporting,
said
playing.
they were sporting and playing,
Mhm.
snapping their fingers, dancing,
Partying.
shuffling, sexing,
Mhm.
gambling,
Mhm.
whatever it is that they wanted to do.
Mhm.
It said during the time of Noah that at this time would be as it was during that time.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
And this is what's taking place.
Mhm.
And it said, what did the guy do? He caused the storm and he flooded them for what? For 40 years.
Yes, sir.
Day in and day out, day night. They thinking, oh, it's just gonna be a little storm. We'd be all right, we can continue doing what we doing.
Yeah.
God told him to come in, close the door,
That's right.
and whoever's out there is gonna perish.
Let them stay.
What
Let
happened
them stay
during
out there.
what happened during the time of Lot
Actually,
and
Noah couldn't
Abraham?
even open the door if he wanted
Couldn't
to.
do. He couldn't do nothing.
Because it was out of his
It
control.
was out of his control at
Yes,
that point,
sir.
though.
Because
The
the law
flood,
sanctioned it.
look, the
Yes,
flood
sir.
was so great, so
Yes,
heavy
sir.
he couldn't get out anyway,
Yes, sir.
unless he killed himself
Kill
and
himself.
everything that's inside.
And that's what
Yes,
we're
sir.
saying. Stop wanting to kill yourself and just surrender.
That's it.
And not only that, beloved, Brandon Tatum, I'm sure your spirituality or your religion has something to do with Jesus.
Hmm.
And if Jesus was here today, he would not side with you and the police. He'll be with the protesters.
Absolutely.
He would not side with the establishment. He would not side with the government. He will not. There's no way he'll take the government side over the oppressed people, because Jesus was most compassionate to the poor and the oppressed. So stop telling our people lies. Stop talking about what God wants. And God told you to lie to the damn people. That's what he's basically saying. God told him to lie to the people.
Mhm.
And he came out and told us, no matter what our enemy do to us, forgive them. Forgive them.
I was speaking with a pastor, right? Which is my father-in-law, right?
Mhm.
He said, God wants you first to show your forgiveness and then come to him.
It is an action. Yes, sir.
He said, if you can't show your forgiveness, God is not going to accept you.
Yes, sir.
And that's one of the major problems with people, is that they can't admit their wrongs because they're very prideful, which is the image of a person when you're working with people, right?
And what
Yes,
did they
sir.
say about
They don't
pride?
really want to hear you because I am better than you, which is a stereotype.
That's the spirit of. That's definitely the spirit of Iblis. That's the spirit of.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, it's not our place as a human family to say, to ask them to forgive us. It's an action that they should show.
Yes,
This
sir.
is why the message just said, give us 25,000, give us 25 years, give us all the resources that we need, and we'll go and show you what it is to be civilized. Because he had the information to bring out the best part of us.
Beloved,
So therefore,
we did that.
you can't find no fault in that.
We did that, beloved.
Yeah.
We did that. We
Yes, sir.
actually did that in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Rosewood.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And they got jealous and they
And they
bombed the
bombed.
place.
Nasir Muhammad, thank you for being a conscious thinker. See, because what happened is I spoke unconsciously, but you brought it to conscious.
Yes, sir.
Because yes, it needs to be exposed to the people that has already been done,
Yes,
and it
sir.
shows you what the enemy would do because of jealousy,
Yes, sir.
envy,
and hate. But they'll say we hate when we bring this to light.
Yeah. And some of us may experience this on our job. Every time we try to excel or try to show our professionalism,
Yes, sir.
they always look at us like we some strange person from a strange land. Because anytime they have to bow down to our excellence, they feel like they lost.
Yes, sir.
Which brings us back to our original point inside of our lesson.
Mm-hmm.
They are 100%, 100% unable to get along and live
in peace, brother.
We have to understand the nature of who these people are.
Yes, sir.
And until we get that and understand it, we're going to keep repeating and going through the same thing continuously.
We need to come out of denial
and over again.
We need to come out of denial and accept ourselves.
With that being said,
brothers and sisters, this has been a powerful bill, and I really enjoy it. We're going to keep it going. I'm Bro.Nasir of the Enemy's Public. We're going to go to the next bill. Second apology when he said, first and foremost, run it back. I extend my deepest and most sincere apologies to my Jewish. We run that back. Propaganda. The propaganda war machine. We're going to discuss capitulation, why some of our people capitulate. We're going to touch on Nick Cannon, his interview with Professor Griff, the backlash he received, and his apology, and the meeting with Rabbi, we're going to call him Rabbi Copper. Start with Brother Kahreee. Brother Kahreee, can you explain to us what is propaganda?
Yes, sir. Well, now, mind you, these are not words of my own. These are words that's coming from the dictionary, Webster's Dictionary, American Dictionary.
Yes, sir.
Of what propaganda is. It says that example of propaganda, which is a form of persuasion used to influence people's attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors. A working definition of propagating is the spreading of ideas, information, or rumor for the purpose of helping or injuring an institution, a cause, or a person.
A lot of times when people say something to offend someone, or someone wants to be discredited, or they want to set off a pretense for war, they start with the propaganda machine. Can you give us an example of how they do that and what's the purpose of like propaganda?
Well, as I can see, the purpose of propaganda, and we said we was going to speak about some things dealing with our brother Nick Cannon, and what's going on now today with his with the interview that he did with Professor Griff from over a year ago. The propaganda that was used in this particular instance was to try to make him bow, to try to make him back off of his belief and his factual knowledge of, from their perspective, what is anti-Semitism.
Yes,
and
sir.
He was simply stating that anti-Semitism is and derives from a Black origin or an African-American origin or an original people origin. Now, as you notice in this whole conversation that he had with Rabbi Copper, the rabbi never stated what it was that he was angry and that he was upset about, and what was anti-Semitic about what Nick said. He never stated it.
Yes, sir.
He danced all around it.
Yes, sir.
He never dealt with it. He just was upset, but he never gave the reason for why he was upset. So propaganda in this term and the way that he used it for here is actually to make us, through their influence and through their power, because they was going to pull this TV show. Matter of fact, they still might be in the making of pulling it and taking it down, along with other different outlets and varied outlets that he had to pull it from. That shows that they do have some type of influence.
Yes, sir.
Because if they didn't, then how can they go to other, or go to Viacom, or go to other outlets and say that they need to have his show canceled just for him saying what he said, and they still couldn't prove that it wasn't factual?
And he said NBC means niggas be careful. That's what Nick Cannon said.
And this is what they telling him that he has to do. And through the interview that he went through with him, he kind of tried to ask the question.
Yes, sir.
But the rabbi danced around it and never really directly answered this question. But what he did do is that he kept referring back to the minister,
to the Honorable Minister,
Minister Louis Farrakhan,
yes, sir,
about statements that he made
3 decades
over
ago.
30 years ago,
Yes, sir.
but not in the context.
Yes,
He
sir.
took him out of the context. In fact, he kept him very short. He said that the minister said that Judaism was a gutter religion. That's not what he said.
And Hitler too.
And he said that Hitler was a great man. But that's not the context in which he used them statements.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
He said Hitler was a wickedly great man
Indeed.
in bringing up Germany. He didn't say that he was great, meaning good.
And also, if you watch or listen to that video in its entirety, the minister said he don't condone Hitler's treatment of the Jews. He
Period.
also said that. But they
Absolutely.
want to show that because they want to portray him as an ugly man.
Absolutely.
Going to the Professor Griff interview on Cannon's class. You watched the video, brother?
Yes, sir.
Did you watch it, brother Karriem? So, what they discussed and the knowledge that they both gave on that interview: hate speech, falsehood, or historical facts?
Historical fact.
Yes, sir. Can you elaborate?
Again, when we first alluded and got to the beginning
Yes, sir.
of what we were just talking about, Semitic people derive from and come from
Yes, sir.
the origin. Is an African or Semitic people. That's us.
Shem.
Shem.
Yes.
So how can we be anti-us?
Yes, sir. Why do they find that offensive and hate the truth?
Well, they find it offensive and hate because now it's exposure.
Yes, sir.
And what the lie can't stand up to is exposure.
Yes, sir.
And now it's coming a time to where things are being exposed. And if you are saying that it's not the truth, then sit down to the table and show me
Yes, sir.
where what we're saying is not true.
Is that what Brother Nick was attempting to do?
He was attempting, but you can tell that there was some kind of pressures, man, that was taking it. And sometimes you have to be careful when you're in that arena and you make that amount of money and you making lots of it, as he stated in his interview with Rabbi Copper, that he wasn't hurt for capitalistic gain.
Yes, sir.
So it makes me think or wonder, is there something else that they might have known?
Yes.
That might have happened, that might have taken place that will have him in a compromising position? Or does he want to continue to make the gains that he's been making? Because when you're talking about warfare, there's different types of warfare.
Yes, sir.
There's propaganda, there's spiritual, there's actual fighting and killing, there's hostage taking, and all types of things that happen in warfare. But this particular one, I was saying this warfare was when the enemy had you in a position of vulnerability, knowing that certain things may come out that you might not want to come out. He can say certain things or do certain things to kind of put that in jeopardy to make you feel that if you continue to go against it, he's going to reveal that.
Yes,
Or,
sir.
I'm not saying that's the case, but these are some of the scenarios that can actually take place and happen. So this is what makes me question, why would you stand so strong on something? And then you think about it and like, well, you know, maybe I might want to back out. So you have to question that. See, when you're trying to be, or when you're in a position and you're the spook who sat by the door, once the spook gets revealed, you can no longer try to remain to be the spook. Now you got to either, okay, this is what it is. Either you stand on it, or in this case, what's happening. But in this interview, the brother handled himself well. He did bow, but he did handle himself well. You know what I mean? In dealing with and trying to get the gentleman Rabbi Cooper or Copper to elaborate on why he felt attacked or why he felt as if though there were anti-Semitic remarks towards them.
Yes, sir. Brother, what about Nick Cannon's second apology when he said, first and foremost, I extend my deepest and most sincere apologies to my Jewish sisters and brothers for the hurtful and divisive words that came out of my mouth during my interview with Richard Griffin. This is what he wrote. He didn't even refer to Professor Griff as Professor Griff. And then he said, they reinforce the worst stereotypes of a proud and magnificent people, and I feel ashamed and uninformed and naive. Why would he say this after speaking so much truth during a powerful build? And why would he go and not refer to the brother as Professor Griff? Professor Griff, even he changed his name years ago to Kavan Shaw. That's his name. That if you sign a check, it'll be Kavan Shaw, not Richard Griffin. I mean, can you speak to that? Why would he do such a thing?
Again, when you're dealing in warfare and you're dealing in propaganda, one of the meanings that we said is that they try to use their power and their influence to make you capitulate to what they want you to capitulate. And propaganda is also trying to get not just him, but to get him is to try to get at a mass public to let them know that what he's saying is a non-truth or it's a non-fact. They want that to happen, so that way they can change the narrative and deflect it and bring the attention away from the fact that you asked that question about them or you made the statement about yourself.
Yes, sir.
So that way you can get away from that totally and completely and try to keep the attention on the victim.
Yes, sir.
They try to play like they're the victim
when they're the bullies.
When he is the victim and all he's doing is trying to state the truth. That research and years of history of research that he went through that brought him to this position to where he would call himself a Hebrew or an Israelite.
And he actually said that he felt ashamed and uninformed after he spoke such profound truth for our brother. Now, I'm not going to bash him.
No.
Because he did, handle himself well.
Oh, he did well in the interview.
With the interview with the rabbi. He handled himself well.
He did well.
I mean, he, backpedaled a little bit but not for the most part.
Right.
He didn't. He just backpedaled a little bit. I just have a problem with brothers
Yeah, I mean,
capitulating. I just got a problem with that.
if this is the first thing that initially came out of your mouth and you stand firm on that and you feel true about that, then stick with that.
Because when you want to be in the company of a Professor Griff, who has been on the front line speaking truth to power
30 years is better.
for over 30 years, in mainstream anyway.
Yeah.
He probably was doing it before then, because
Yeah.
if you see his spirit, that's what the brother do.
Right.
Now, if you want to be in that company, this is the price to pay, because you're speaking the truth about some people who don't want to hear the truth about themselves, and you have to work for them. So, they use false propaganda. They constantly say that Professor Griff was kicked out of Public Enemy for using anti-Semitic statements, when that's not the truth. Because Nick Cannon called black people the true Hebrews and discussed the anti-Semitic conspiracies with Professor Griff. So they say he was kicked out of Public Enemy in 1989 over Jewish remarks, anti-Jewish remarks. Now, Nick Cannon is a very knowledgeable young brother.
Yes.
And he wanted to show his big brother how much he knew, which was a lot. Yet, he should have drawn the questions out of Griff instead of saying it, especially in his position. Now, let's go to the interview with the rabbi. The rabbi said that he don't like to get into victimhood, but it was the first thing he did when he started the conversation.
Yes.
And then he started, every time Brother Nick would ask, what did I say that was so upsetting and hurtful? I believe the interview was over an hour, right?
Yeah, it's 2 parts.
It's 2 parts.
2 parts.
At least
2 hours.
at least
About
hour
2
and a half,
hours.
2 hours,
Easy.
right? And he never answered the question.
Never.
Nick handled him real clever. And again, he never answered the question. He kept referring to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes.
When they'll branch off, he'll say, well, this Farrakhan character, he's the problem. Now, do you think, Nick alluded to it, but I'm going to ask you, do you think the main issue that they have with Nick Cannon was the fact that pictures surfaced of Nick Cannon at the Garden
For the criteria.
in the company of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan?
Absolutely. I believe so. I believe that was one of the factors, because as you notice, this interview resurfaced and was posted again that he did with Professor Griff.
He just decided to post it.
And he decided to post it again. But it was done over a year ago.
Yes.
So you telling me that they had nothing and nobody was watching that over a year ago, and then all of a sudden now, when the Criterion came down, right, and the pictures showed up with him embracing the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan at the Criterion, because you seen the setup and you see, so he had to have been there.
Yes.
And he's seen it. And then all of a sudden, then they want to come against this brother now at this particular time, as opposed to a year ago, because I know they seen it a year ago. So it wasn't that much important back then that it is now.
I don't think they posted it. I think Nick Cannon posted it weeks ago. The interview with Professor Griff.
So it's the first time it's being posted.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yet, it doesn't dismiss anything you're saying.
No, it
It
doesn't.
don't dismiss anything that you're saying.
You know why it doesn't dismiss anything?
Because weeks have gone by and they didn't say anything to Nick Cannon until after the picture surfaced of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and Nick Cannon. So it doesn't dismiss anything you're saying. And the fact that every time they went to a subject, he kept going back to the minister.
Right.
So this lets us know that the minister is the problem.
Focal point.
He's the focal point. That's
Absolutely.
the main problem they have with Nick Cannon. The
Absolutely.
fact that he was in the company of the minister. And Nick Cannon actually mentioned that in the interview with the rabbi.
Right.
He was like, you're going to cancel me and I'm going to have backlash because I'm around somebody or took a picture with somebody.
Right.
I can't take a picture with somebody who I held
in high esteem. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
the rabbi tried to get him to denounce the minister.
That's what he tried to do on several occasions.
Which he wouldn't. And he wouldn't do it. So you gotta give it up to him because a lot of people have done that.
Yeah, but you heard Nick's question towards the end of the wrap up was, do you think that my apology is sincere? The rabbi's comment was, I think so for now. You know what I mean? For now, I believe it to be that.
Yes, sir.
I'm paraphrasing. You know what I mean? That's what he believed it to be.
Didn't they use the same language towards the minister?
Excuse me?
Didn't they use the same language towards the minister?
Right. Saying that in order for us to know that you're, again, paraphrasing, to know that you have changed, we have to watch you over a protracted period of time.
Yes, sir.
To see if you have changed from that. So in other words, they want you to constantly bow down to them.
Yes, sir.
About something that you said in truth and in fact, as opposed to them sitting down at the table with you, because none of them have never wanted to sit down.
Why?
Exposure. Are they afraid that exposure of the truth is going to come to light? Because you know what we say about truth and falsehood.
Yes, sir.
You know, they gave the story that truth and falsehood both went swimming. Truth took off his clothes. They jumped in the sea. They went swimming. Falsehood jumped out, stole truth's clothing, and started running. And then you had the truth been chasing a well-dressed-up lie for the longest, but he's catching up with him now.
Yes, sir.
He's catching up with him now, man, to expose him and claim his clothing back.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of times they don't want you to do that because they don't want that to happen, which is another way that they using their propaganda.
Yes, sir.
Because it's primarily to influence an audience and further an agenda, which may not be the objective, but may be presenting facts selectively to encourage a particular synthesis or perception, or using loaded language to produce an emotional rather than a rational response to the information.
Brother Karriem said something very intricate, brother. That's nothing short of MK Ultra.
That's it. Mind control.
That's what it is.
That's it. But that's the basis of propaganda.
Repetitively. If you keep repeating it,
that's how they profit.
That's it.
Yes, and that's how they get it into your mind and into your subconscious mind also.
That's it. That's it.
They start that at the 4th grade.
Yes, sir.
Before that, kindergarten.
Yes, sir.
That started at kindergarten.
The things they're teaching in kindergarten today, brother.
That's at kindergarten. They're teaching that information. But we got to understand that when you're talking about dealing with warfare, there's many levels, man, of warfare that they use. See, most people they think of when warfare is played and put into the game, they thinking about
It's the violence.
they thinking about us fighting
Just
each
the
other.
violence.
The violence aspect
That's
of it.
it. Yeah.
But they're not understanding that it starts first, man, with what propaganda. Because first, in order for me to go into somewhere else and to cause harm or to do anything to them, I have to first to get the people that I'm trying to encourage to be on my side to believe I got a reason to go in there and do that.
Or demonize.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So I have to kill, assassinate the character of those or that individual or them people in order to get a response from the people that I'm trying to get it from to help me do it. And a lot of times, even when you're using warfare of words and propaganda, you will place it on somebody of their own.
Yes, sir.
So they can come and combat them, and you can throw the rock, but go back there, and hide your hand.
You see a lot of that. You see a
Yeah.
lot of this. You see a lot of that because you'll take when something happened. Let's say, for instance, a George Floyd or any one of us who was murdered by police. They'll take a Jason Whitlock, a Charles Barkley, or Candace Owens, or Jesse Lee Peterson, and have them come out saying the propaganda first, and then they'll come after that so they won't have the appearance of being.
They won't
racist.
be the first one to say.
They won't be the boogeyman.
Right. They're not the first one to say, well, your person, you said, or Kansas said,
right,
or whoever said, of your own particular race or people.
Exactly.
Said this. This is what they do.
Exactly.
It's a part of deflection.
Indeed.
That was Gordon?
Yeah. Gordon. Yeah, that's what they do. They'll have some. They'll get a Negro, have a Negro say something to offset what the real narrative is.
Right.
So when they come behind it, they don't appear racist. They have them say something outrageously niggardly, and then they'll come behind it.
Right.
With their racist statements.
Right. And justify why they did it because one of yours said it first, so why is it good for them to say it and not good for us, and we can't say it?
So in other words, what you tell me
using the double standard.
They study the person before they even bring them onto the stage.
Well, actuality, it's
they
their person.
They made them.
It's their man.
Yeah, they made them.
Yes, sir.
Like a Sheriff David
So
Clark.
that's the deal with Brother Nick Cannon then, because he's in the industry, and being that he signed on to be in the industry, he had the ability to make and break them.
Indeed.
So therefore, he got to be able to say, either I'm going to separate from the industry, be a truth speaker, or stay in the industry.
Nick Cannon has almost $100 million. How much money do you have to have
Before
to
you
stick
step
your
away?
middle finger up?
Before you step away. See, which brings me back to
might be in love with the industry.
See, but
he want to work.
He wants to work, but it makes me go back to my original point, and I don't want to say that this is what's going on, but there's always a possibility because a lot of people that's inside of the industry, and it's not fabrication, and I'm not just making stuff up. A lot of people that's inside the industry have things, man, that are in their closet that they would not like to be exposed, and these guys have things on them. And when times come to where it gets very crucial, you see them when they start to pull these things out. Case in point, Bill Cosby.
Yes, sir.
Bill Cosby making a lot of money, doing his thing. He was the quintessential, quote unquote, black fatherhood that everybody inspired and wanted their children to aspire to have a family like the Huxtables.
Fact.
Right?
Fact.
But that was design.
Yeah, we know that's design, but it's something that he went with and played into. But the moment that he stepped outside of the box and wanted to do something different,
ownership
of NBC that he wanted to get,
killed the son.
What happened? First his son gets knocked off.
Yeah, remember that's all acting,
right? Yeah. First his son gets knocked off.
Real.
Right? First his son gets knocked off, but it's just It's to make the point, the case in point, that when they have something on you, now all of a sudden you have all these people come out of the woodwork,
That's right.
and he did this.
That's
They've been had that
but
information.
but that's what
They'll do the dirt with
That's
you.
what but that's what they do with all the artists.
This is what I'm saying.
Because if the artists come into consciousness,
We
and
gotta
once
we
it
gotta
changed,
break
we
it
got
down.
something against him that'll just kill his whole image.
Right.
And this is what brings
They
me to
can't
the
do that with
see,
Minister
but
Farrakhan,
they can't do. That's why they upset.
They didn't make
That's why they upset. See, but this is why we're at this point now in talking about our beautiful brother.
Yes, sir.
Is that what is it that they may have? Because from our vantage point, it can't be money.
Mm-hmm.
No.
It can't be money because he got much of that and put a whole lot of other people on.
Yep.
So what is it? What is the terms of the agreement that they're giving to him on what he has to do in order to stay in said quote unquote position?
So that Jewish scholar probably knew.
Or this is what I'm alluding. This is what I'm alluding to.
Yes, sir.
Or is it something that they may have hanging over our brother's head that he does not want to be exposed? I don't know. But we have to understand who we're dealing with and what we're dealing with.
In order to evolve,
You got to be able to fight. You got to be able to deal with that.
In order to evolve into being an upright person, all that stuff has to come into the light because
Eventually,
it has to be a measurement of who you can become as opposed of who you are.
Yes,
Because
sir.
a lot of times you make a lot of mistakes from your immaturity, and as he's growing in the business, he's learning the business. And what happens is they'll have that over his head. But sometimes it's even better for it to be exposed.
it's more rewarding for it to be exposed.
So people can learn from his mistake. In other words, he'd be doing us a service.
And what he need to do is take a page out of his adversary's book. Eminem.
Yes, sir.
If you watch the ending of 8 Mile,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
when he was battling the other crew, he said it about himself.
He gave all
Everything
his secrets.
everything
and
he
said,
said,
what else
he
you
was
gonna say about it?
exactly what you gonna say about me. I'm gonna reveal everything
He
about
had
myself.
nothing he can say. That's right.
So if
He had nothing he can say.
so if he do all that and say it by himself, can't nobody say it about him.
Nobody can say nothing about you, bro.
Which brings it back to my point. You and I both know that.
Yes, sir.
But when you're a person of that stature
Yes, sir.
in the industry with that power, what could they possibly have on you? Because we know during the time of Martin Luther King, the FBI agent was like, look, we're going to tell about your extramarital illicit affairs that you had if you don't stop doing what you're doing.
Kill him as being a minister.
What was his response to it? Do what you have. I'm still carrying on with what I'm doing.
That's right.
Which is to the point that you just brought out about that's a service to us. At some point, you're gonna have to stand up.
Isn't it beautiful how the messenger protected Minister Louis Farrakhan?
Oh, brother.
Yes, sir.
When he was in the audience and he said, "Brother, you did a very good job. But what is it that you choose to be?" And the minister chose to be a minister.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
He said, brother, he said, you're a beautiful, he told him that he was a beautiful musician.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but your best work and your greatest work is in the spiritual.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Because this is where we are. This is what, and right now we're in the position, man, and we're in the manifestation of defects.
Yes, sir.
So it's best to go ahead and deal with them. See, but when you're in the public light like that,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta try to kind of place myself in that kind of position.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? But because of where I'm at right now, I guess certain things wouldn't mean as much because I don't have as much.
Yes, sir.
I don't have a lot of things.
Yes, sir.
He has a lot of things. He done did a lot.
A whole lot.
He goes with a lot of people. He do it for a whole lot of people.
I
you know?
share this with you, brother. He better expose himself before they kill him.
Well,
beloved, that's
exactly
what
what they did to Michael Jackson.
Well, but that's a good statement, brother. Let me elaborate on that right there.
Yeah.
As soon as
The-
Michael
the,
Jackson
uh,
started
the-
becoming more political,
Yeah, more
they started
kind.
bringing him up on all this stuff,
Everything.
man.
But
And
What you're saying is very intricate because
They
if
already
you, if,
trying to
if you
paint-
look if you look at the second apology had suicidal sentiments
Sentences-
at the end,
tendencies that was sitting in
and
there.
I don't even think he wrote the second apology.
No, I don't. He might not even wrote the first one.
I don't think I don't. Well, I'm going to state the second one. He probably didn't write neither one of
You know,
them,
because
but,
you know they put
but-
them. They'll put them together for
because
his
they can
purposes.
because they can allude to something.
Because
and
that's
then-
what they're trying to set up.
And that's what they're trying to set up because they started with the propaganda machine, as you said earlier.
Yep.
Wacko Jacko, what Michael Jackson.
Mhm.
I mean, saying he's this, he's saying he's using drugs. So when they finally kill him with drugs, they can say overdose.
Absolutely.
that industry is so wicked,
Prince.
it's pathetic.
Prince,
I mean, look,
you couldn't even
Sam
smoke.
Otis
Cook.
Redding,
You couldn't.
Sam Cook. I
you
mean,
couldn't
we
even-
can go through the
Sam
Johnny
whole
Cook
Hathaway.
was associated.
Yeah, all of them.
Sam Cook was associating himself with Malcolm.
Absolutely.
Malcolm,
And he wanted
Muhammad
independence.
Ali.
He wanted
those
independence.
three-
He
those
wanted
three
independence
individuals.
too. He wanted independence.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Them, Otis
Sam Cook.
Redding,
He's seen,
Sam
he's
Cook,
seen the wickedness in the
James Brown,
industry.
all of them,
in
man.
the industry, which
Yes,
is
sir.
backed by Jews. Most of the industry
Exactly.
is backed by
But they don't. But
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 they
they
don't-
But they don't want you to. They don't want you to know this,
It's-
and they want to
Right.
disassociate themselves
With having power
with having power
and
because,
influence.
and not only that, especially today.
That's why we
If
got
you
the
take
lesson
violent
that say
movies, you
rich
take
slave
violent
because of
movies,
the
right?
poor,
You
bro.
take violent movies, violent
Much
movies.
so.
They don't
Yeah.
want you. They don't want to associate themselves with that, but they capitalize
Because-
off it.
Yeah. That's
Hip
why
hop
we got that
artists.
lesson, yeah.
With the foul language they say they use
Mhm.
in hip hop,
Mhm.
they don't want to associate themselves with it, but they capitalize off it.
Oh man,
And they don't. If they'll probably take this video down
Mhm.
because we're saying this,
right.
but
Well, they gonna
it's
flag
the
it.
truth.
They gonna flag it,
It's the truth.
but somebody will see it before they flag it.
It's the truth. They'll take the video down for telling the
The
truth.
Yeah.
They know.
Talking about
If
it's
you-
against our.
If you look at the executive producer is the one who put the money up.
Mhm.
That's them. But they don't want us to know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because they capitalize off something that they call filth.
Right.
Mhm. They keep all our brothers.
And they don't want to be associated with it.
Yet they'll tell brothers to dumb their damn lyrics down.
Yeah.
A lot of brothers don't want to rhyme like they rhyme. Do you think those brothers talk like that for real? Do mumble rap? They don't talk like that for
The
real.
first thing they come in and they do this and say, "Look, man,
This is what's in
I
it.
like what you got, but that's not going to sell.
Yeah.
What's going to sell? You got to be more like little Uzi Vert over here. You got
Kill all
to
the
be more
bigs,
like,
keep the littles.
you got to be more like baby Waka Knock over here.
Yeah,
You
show
got to
the
do
doo-wop.
like you got to be like baby Skeeter Draws over here. You got to be like this one over
It's
here.
always reduced you
That's not
down to
saying
a child,
nothing.
though.
That's saying nothing.
All the bigs is gone.
Yeah, everything is little now.
All the bigs gone.
baby or little.
Baby or little.
Baby or little.
They killed all the bigs. Big L, Notorious B.I.G.
Big Sean better watch out.
Big Sean, he better
You better be careful.
be careful. Because they want us little.
Yeah.
Or baby.
They don't want us to grow up into the knowledge of who we really are.
Y'all exposing the mysteries.
Absolutely.
Because this is a
And
mystery
then,
to a lot of people, because a lot of
Yeah.
people are unconscious.
yeah.
And a lot of our young brothers and sisters
And you
want
know
to be
what, though?
artists, but they don't really know what they
But
get
you know what,
ready to
though,
get
Karriem?
themselves
Yes,
into.
sir.
But
It's
you
an
know,
industry. I mean, they want to make money off
yeah,
it.
but you know what though, Karriem? At this time too, a lot more than what we can imagine actually know and have this, but just won't say.
Yes, sir.
Won't say anything because they're afraid to.
Yes, sir.
Because they're in it trying to get something because of conditions and stuff that they live in and these type of places. So they want to come up. So they'll kind of, it's like, should I, I need to bow down until I can get certain things that I can get. See, but you have to be careful, man, about this stuff. And they will call this a conspiracy theory when I'm getting ready to say that these parties that they go to, these Pandora boxes is these little things that they go to is almost like the movie Eyes Wide Shut.
Yes, sir.
You go into these places where all these high prestige type of people are going in and having all kind of different acts of bestiality and homosexuality and everything else, and they probably don't take it because I said homosexuality and they think I'm referring to it as hate, but that's not what it is. These things happen. And so because they happen and it's so prevalent and it's out there and people talk about it all the time, but they don't want everybody to know. Because we have these platforms now and social media gatherings to where you can expose it and there's so much stuff that's out there, it's easy for them to get it. But I think a lot much for the coming of Master Farrakhan, because if it wasn't for him, all this technology that we see wouldn't be prevalent and coming out. Because the atom bomb, cracking the atoms, gene splicing, going into stem cell research, and all this stuff wasn't even prevalent before 1914, before he came. Now all of a sudden when he come, now all this stuff is starting to come into influence. I mean, come into power. People are extracting and taking. When now it used to be when you was in the prison situation, you could have your lessons. Now you can't have none of them. They take them. They grab them. The only thing you can have now is you got to have stuff from people that have published stuff that they can send into. And then they screen everything.
Because they want you
when the messenger
walk around like a zombie.
You know, when the messenger had did his little time when they locked him up for what was it, for draft dodging?
Draft dodging when he was above the
draft.
When
he was already above the draft.
Yes,
and then they wanted to confiscate and take all his material.
He was too old to be drafted.
But
they locked him up
anyway.
That's the law. The whole thing, the whole thing was to get and see what it is that he possessed.
You know, Master Farrakhan Muhammad, he said that's the price of freedom, brother.
That's it. Yes, sir. That's it. It's when he was even like, he called him and said, "Come here, brother.
Yes,
I want you to see something." He said, "This is the price of freedom." But that's another topic, man. I didn't mean to go into that.
Yes, sir.
But
but it all ties into.
I mean,
it all ties into
pretty much what we're dealing with here, man, today.
But our brother handled himself pretty well. It's just that I have a problem with apologizing when it comes to telling the truth.
Yeah.
When you walk away from the situation, walk away a man.
Yeah.
Let your peers and your people see a man.
Yeah. And they'll fight for you. They'll back you.
We got you.
They'll back you. They'll fight for you.
We got you. Because if you go to them and you say you're in pain because you hurt them from telling the truth, if the truth hurt, you're going to be in pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Truth drive you crazy, you're going to be insane.
And look, pain is a motivator, bro.
Look. Yes, sir. Our sister, Soldier, said that.
Yeah. But what is it about the truth that puts them in so much pain?
They don't want to let go of this perception of them being the chosen. When you say that they are not the chosen people and we are, that angers them, that hurts them. And they won't sit down and talk to you and discuss it. Brother said it earlier. Conspiracy cannot stand exposure.
Can't stand it, brother.
And that part when he said that he said something that the minister said something that I heard what's the dude name from Millennium 2000? Jordan Maxwell said. Jordan Maxwell said conspiracy cannot stand exposure. And Jordan Maxwell talked about the same thing
Yeah.
that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talked about. And you don't see the guy hides out, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's why, huh?
Yeah.
Guess why he hides out. Guess why he don't be in public a lot. So, but our brother should just stand on his truth. It's not his truth. He can own it because he said it.
Well, I mean,
He should own it because it's the truth. It's all about truth.
At this point and at this rate, the things that they're going to be making him go through to keep apologizing, he's going to be on every network show, program.
Whatever they say they're not going to do, trust me, they're going to do it, because I heard the rabbi say, you don't need to go on a world tour apologize.
That means
you're
going on a world tour. Everywhere you go, you have to apologize. But you got to understand too, and remember, that nigga holds a lot of platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. He'll be apologizing there if he still has that show. Mass Singer. He'll be apologizing there if he has that show.
This fall also.
Right. That's if he still gets it.
Just if he still get it.
Right. What's the other show that he has? America's Got Talent, something like that.
No, I think Ferry Cruz doing it now.
He's doing that now because he was doing it.
Gabrielle Union was doing it.
Yeah,
Gabrielle Union was doing it.
She was on it.
Yes, she said she experienced racism, and they got Ferry Cruz, and Ferry Cruz said Ferry Cruz didn't defend her.
Well, Ferry Cruz won't defend himself.
Yeah, you're right.
You don't defend yourself.
You're not gonna defend yourself. You're not gonna defend no sister.
They also did that to Sister Monique
in front of his sister.
They
did that to Sister Monique.
And she was pissed off at our brother Steve Harvey.
Yeah, and she was
Steve
upset
Harvey
with
Steve Harvey said it's all about the money.
Tyler Perry too.
And Oprah.
Yeah, he said it was all about, Steve Harvey was basically saying it's all about the money.
But Steve Harvey was straight up.
Oh man, look.
Steve Harvey was straight cooning.
Bro. Yeah, she put it on him.
He said it's all about the money.
He's talking about
we black over here. He was sounding like
Yeah.
he sounded like he should be wearing overalls and
But-
a straw hat.
But then what happened?
Then he got
axed. Only thing he holding on to now is WBLS and Family Feud.
Yeah,
do something for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Suffer the consequences.
that's it. But you're gonna be forced to.
You're gonna be forced to, brother.
You're gonna be forced.
The thing is, though, brother, with all our brothers and sisters who are so successful, I'm going to say something, and then I'm going to backtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Our brothers and sisters don't pool their resources.
True.
With all the money they have, they don't work together.
True.
But then again, this is the backtrack part. When Jay Prince, Suge Knight, Damon Dash, and Irv Gotti attempted to put $30 million each to start a distribution company to distribute black movies and music.
Entertainment.
They came down hard on those brothers.
Yeah.
Office got raided. They got all kind of trumped up charges put on them because they wanted to distribute music and movies. These brothers are going to start their own company, put $30 million each, and
Irv Gotti, right?
Irv Gotti,
Gotti,
Damon Dash,
Damon Dash,
Jay Prince,
Jay Prince, and Suge.
and
I
Suge.
remember when them brothers was working on that project.
Yeah. And you know who
I know
you know who went to them
was
people?
associated.
You know who went to them people? Jay-Z. He went to them people.
And that's how he became.
And that's how he got
CEO of
elevated.
Def Jam.
That's how he got elevated. Because he went to them people.
And that's how he became Def Jam. CEO of Def Jam.
See, we have to consider the moves people make and not what they speak, the loyalty they show.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see a brother like, even though like a Jay Prince, he can do no wrong in Texas. Why? Because of people he take care of.
Yeah. But you gotta remember, whenever these guys become artists, right? Their contract keeps them at a point to where they can only go but so far. They gotta disregard the contract and invent themselves.
Yes,
with brothers who have the same interests at heart.
Yes, some brothers.
They're the rich slave makers of the poor, and their whole
sir.
thing is to keep us blind to ourselves so that they can continue on amassing.
Yes,
So
sir.
the art of deception is what they all about.
Yes, sir.
So a lot of them brothers don't know these lessons. They don't know the cause of the lessons and how it affect them if they knew the lesson.
That's why.
You know what I mean?
That's why at this point right now, a lot of what we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
that we're dealing with now,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of this don't even need to be discussed on camera because you're giving away too much vital information. You're giving them a lot of vital information on how to get things done.
Well, you also let them know that there's people out there who have
who got a conscience like you have.
Will be able to reach brothers like that and tell them, no, expose yourself. Yeah. What up? Yeah. I mean, you're a black man who came from the hood. Yeah. I mean, what we know about molestation.
Right.
We know about all these illnesses that we have in our homes, things that has happened to us.
Yes,
so
sir.
anything that you say wouldn't.
It ain't gonna be new.
I mean,
it's not gonna be new.
It's
just gonna be hurtful to you.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? But everybody else can see it, and at some point, somebody went through it, and it can identify.
Come out
it can identify
with it.
You know what I mean?
That makes it
sir.
more aware of the things that we need to work on.
Yes, sir.
But
a lot of times when you self-assuming, you don't really think. You say it's only me.
Right now,
it's
never.
No, it's not only you.
The only thing that I was talking about when I was saying that some things that we deal with don't need to be discussed on camera. It's not this stuff.
That's right.
The stuff I'm talking about is if you, I, and him got 50 million.
That's right.
Or we got it through going through the industry and we've been acquiescing and been bowing to whatever's been going on, but a whole while in our mind.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
And then we start to make moves and they do what they did against them brothers and break them all down. So then that stops the movement because they took them away from it. So when I talk about things like that and those type of strategies, because they did, that's the same thing with Sam Cooke, Otis Redding. Who else was it? And James Brown was trying to get that with
Farrakhan and Prince.
Prince.
You know,
Michael
so what they
Jackson,
do
the labels was making all the money and
Johnny Hathaway.
Yeah.
They
So
trying to say he jumped off a building. Nah,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
They'll start that he's schizophrenic stuff,
Yeah.
put it in the news. They'll start that, oh, he's suicidal, he's on drugs.
Right.
So when they kill you, they can say, oh, he finally killed himself.
It's a justifiable homicide to them. But this is the whole thing about us being able to sit down, man, and strategize, and then put a plan into effect and make some things happen, and all of us stick to what it is that we need to stick to. Put it out here now. Now they be like, yo, find out where that one work at, or where that one stay. Find out where that one stay. So they got to try to make some moves to kill that mindset because they don't want that mindset to exist.
That's right.
This whole thing has been what? Truth and lie. Those who come with the truth, we got to keep them at bay so we can keep this lie going. Because if we don't keep this lie going,
they can't
then we can't exist.
And we have to, in this mindset, is we have to always appear as the victim.
They do it every time. I mean, because we was discussing earlier about, now, granted, everybody, they went through things and we went through things. They went through the Holocaust, which happened in, what, 1945?
Yeah.
1946? We've been here since 1555.
And there was white on white crime.
We suffered some of the, see, they want to talk about every people has been in slavery at one point or another. Yeah, that's probably true. But at the same time, has anybody undergone and went through what we went through slavery?
No.
Now, once you answer that question, we went through this not for 1 century, 2 centuries, 3 centuries.
Now you're talking about the
Close to
psychological
4.
warfare.
Right. This is the whole
Jim
setup.
Crow. The Jim Crow.
See, but they went through a whole lot of different avenues and different things that they did, from buck breaking, the male figure, to demasculating the man, having the woman up. That's what Sister was teaching on. How how the effects.
Jim Crow, and
brothers, what you call it?
What's his name?
Sister Donna was dealing with.
Yeah.
Right. So these are the effects of slavery and what they did to us with the Willie Lynch syndrome.
She quoted.
You know what I mean? What they did with that syndrome and how they used that
man
to break the man, raise the woman, which in fact would raise the child, would bring up the male as one of less power, because she feared that what would happen to her son is the same thing that they did to her father, because her father was a strong advocate. So they made him passive. They made him weak. They made him timid. They made him docile.
Thinking they were saving his life.
But the woman, they rose up to be strong, because they rose up to be strong and they tried to be independent, because they had to harbor and had to carry the weight.
Then she loses the respect for the man,
because he's not protecting nothing, not knowing that. Then the cycle goes on. But then they'll use that man to go in to produce more of that same, because now the seed is tainted now.
He's only strong physically. That's it.
Right, but the seed is tainted. The mentality and everything that's inside what he's going to emanate inside of a woman is not going to be of a strong character.
Nope.
So you telling me the building block is who is the original man? That is one of the most beautiful lessons that you could ever encounter.
Yes, sir.
Bruh.
Who is the original? Brother, when I heard that when I was about 13, 12 years old.
I know your esteem went up so
that
high.
turned your whole bro. That's
I know what it did to my esteem.
But
oh my God!
But it's like, see, and when you say it right now, man, it's like this, right? When you say it right now, man, I feel high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because what it does, man, is it puts something, because you like, damn, I knew.
That's the building.
You just needed to be attached.
Need to be attached.
And now that you attached, what it needs now is application.
Yes,
and what is application?
Yeah. You need the nourishment, the
application is there.
Yes, sir.
You got to continue, man, to steadily show that self-what?
Yeah.
Self-approval, brother. You have to. And we can go ahead and teach it. And that's why they said, the Black Poets beautifully quoted, man, that the revolution will be televised. It's televised, right? It's televised, but what they mean by that is not televised is that years ago, in our ancestry, what we used to do was they call the form and the art of what? Storytelling.
Yes, sir.
We didn't write things down. This is how we communicate.
Oratate.
It was through oration. It was through speaking. I pass this information on to you, so that way nobody can go and find it somewhere. But then we started writing stuff down, and
the enemy,
because they would come in and take it.
But our enemy took that and made it negative and try to make it seem like it's
not true.
It's not true, because folk tell only mean your folk is telling you
a story. It's telling you what happened from generation to generation.
Tradition.
Right.
Tradition.
Yes, sir.
Right. They would give you sayings I mean, and it's crazy because when you start dealing with Aesop fables and things like that, there, what you're dealing with is just parables, allegories, similes. You're dealing with all different types of language. You're dealing with, should I say, the structure of how you get language across. You know what I mean? Through words. It's like poetry.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? We can sit here and go through a poetic form and break it down through poetry. It might only refer to what we've been and what we've done. Nobody else can understand what we're talking about because they haven't been there, or they don't know what we're talking about.
That's language.
You know what I mean? So it's us being able to communicate.
So that's probably some of the problems there, beloved.
Oh, bro, a whole lot of it.
Because a brother can become noble in learning something, but don't even know the art of the reason why you should learn it. So you can become a Hebrew, you can become a Christian, you can become anything, right? But if you don't know the art of why you should be that, you just regurgitate because it sounded good, it feels good. But is it the origin?
You know what the brothers say in Father said.
Right, you're not understanding me. Yeah, you're lip professor. But what's the next thing that come after that? Don't be a lip professor, man. Make your what?
Word bond.
Make your word bond, but make your understanding what? Understood.
Yes, sir.
Help me understand that.
Yes, sir. I think a lot of people, what they do is they jump on somebody who's very intellect, and then they try to equal up to that person instead of knowing themselves.
That's it.
Then they lose themselves because when it's challenged, you can say, "Oh man, I didn't know I had to sacrifice this for that."
Which is what happened with
because
Nick
it's mental, physical,
he went right back to the brother.
Absolutely. You can't have it.
You went right back to the brother with that.
Because there's 3 levels and they all connected.
They all connected.
They all connected.
Yes,
Mind,
sir.
body, and spirit.
Brother
Everything's
Karriem,
connected.
you went right back to the brother with that statement.
Yes, sir.
Because when he was sitting across the table from Professor Griff, mind you, Professor Griff is probably like 20 years, 21 years his elder.
Right.
And he wanted to show his big brother how much he knew. And that's what happened. Which was a lot. The brother's very knowledgeable. He wanted to show his brother. Could you get that, brother? He wanted to show his brother what he knew.
Yeah.
And he spoke some words about people he worked for, and the words were truthful. Everything he said was true.
Yeah. But
that's
not building though.
But
it's not about comparison, it's about elevation.
Right.
Just because I know some information.
Yes, sir. To the right.
Just because I know some information, it doesn't really make me qualified.
But
it's about the building process.
Right.
What stage you gonna take it from here?
You shouldn't teach
So
unless you understand what you're teaching.
If you show me something that is of value for me, I should come back and show you that I appreciate it and then take it to another level.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Because we're trying to get somewhere. We're not trying to stay, I'm better than you or you better than me.
It's not a competition.
No, it's not a competition.
No, it's not a competition. It's a building factor.
Yeah.
But you know,
it's not a competition.
You know, some people when they learn something, they're very eager to teach themselves.
Oh yeah.
They're very eager to teach themselves when they learn something. And being that the brother sat across one who just when he speaks, it gravitates people towards him. Speaking about Professor Griff, and I think it was the excitement of being in the brother's presence.
Of those that are in the know.
Because mechanic.
Yeah, he has that ability to be excited.
Professor Griff is somebody who, if you sat across the table, have been in his presence, because the brother teaches.
Right.
And he has the ability to gravitate you towards what he's saying. You really do. And being that our brother knows some things, he wanted to show his big brother how much he knew. But like you said, Brother Kahreee, if you're going to be the spook that sat by the door, once you are exposed, once your cover is blown, you're no longer the spook that sat by the door.
You're not there no more.
And my suggestion to Nick Cannon is stop. It's over.
Yeah.
The relationship is over. You could, because you don't want to go on this national tour of apologize and they still treat you the same damn way. It's over. Just accept the fact that the relationship is over and stop apologizing for telling the truth.
But that's the slick thing about it. Because the way that they're going to come and the way that they're going to bring it, as if though you're going to be able to gain some grace out of this
Exactly.
and come back. So they'll keep allow you to continue doing the same thing over and over and over again, which only makes you substantiate what they said or what they feel.
He already gave a third apology.
And he's gonna be giving a whole lot more.
Yeah, about 300 more. He's gonna go on a national tour of apologizing to those people who he offended.
So I don't know if giving an apology means 3 times or 30 years.
Yeah, fact. Yeah, because if you look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he clarified what he meant so many times, and they're still saying the same exact thing. Oh, he called our religion a good religion. He said Hitler was a great man, and as a matter of fact, the rabbi sent Nick Cannon something that was written.
That was right.
And the brother said, I didn't hear him say anything.
Say nothing.
But you sent me some type of...
Send me the material. Send me what he actually said. Give me the tape. Don't give me the manuscript. Because you can doctor the
manuscript. You know how they take
it's what he did.
They'll take a picture of the minister and put it on a piece of paper, and then they'll put quotes on it as if the minister said it. That's propaganda.
That's propaganda. But take bits and pieces of different speeches.
Like he did, like Phil Donahue did. Like Phil Donahue did.
Same thing.
He's a master. Phil Donahue was a master of that.
Like Phil Donahue did, and it was done raggedy as hell too.
But the way the way his propaganda was, you can see his propaganda because you can see him trying to play on the crowd, right? You can see him trying to play on the caller.
He's in the light.
You can see him trying to bring. You can see him trying to bring the minister to a certain point.
We're talking about him. I don't even know we're talking about him.
Well, he's nuts.
You know people are talking about him.
You know people.
Brother, he is the Criterion.
But they say over 3 million followers.
And that's not. And see, they said he got over 3 million views, right?
Yes, sir.
Over 3 million views, but how many of them views was 4 or more gathered in the name?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's, you know what? Times how many
views on what?
Times 4, 5.
On what platform was 3 million views? What platform was it 3 million views?
This was Sister Ava that gave that reference. I don't know what platform.
Because a lot of times
might have been more.
That's why I'm.
Yeah, I'm sure. It was way more.
Because they'll take and deflate the numbers.
Bro, you know they gonna do that.
You know how they do because they don't want to give him.
He was satellite all over the world, brother.
Yeah.
He was in the United Kingdom. He was in Africa. He was in Ghana. He was in Jamaica. He was in Britain. He was here. Man, come on, man.
They tried to bar him from Europe.
He was in Libya. Man, come on, Uganda.
So
satellite streamed everywhere, bro. And that's why they wanted to take him off of Soul.
Fox Soul.
So that rabbi was associated our brother with Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Oh,
because he was there.
He was there at the Criterion.
Nick Cannon was there.
So if he's associated with Minister Farrakhan, what he said, I'm going to treat you the same way,
bro,
as
look, bro,
Minister Farrakhan.
The same way anybody else that likes, associates, or around, beloved, and anybody that comes with the same posture as we are Semitic, they're not. They're going to continue to paint you in this way that you're crazy, you talking theory, conspiracy theory, not conspiracy. You're talking conspiracy theory.
And then
don't want to sit down to the table
and explain it.
And explain how I'm wrong about what I'm saying and don't want to bring the facts out.
And then when you mention the banking system, they get really upset.
Oh, bro.
He's so sharp.
But this is all part of deflection.
He got to be
I mean,
he can't go to school
he
long
he
to
said
learn this kind of stuff.
Yeah, but the most see,
you know, he's the
this is
ain't no school and teach this kind of stuff.
this was for them it was, you know what?
So brother's career is basically over.
I'm not even getting it.
I mean,
Well,
His relationship.
his relationship with them is over, but the brother has almost $100 million.
Yeah.
How much money do you have to have to
Yeah, so
tell them to go to hell?
So the best thing for him to do is whatever they have on him, expose it.
That's what I say. He might as well.
If they have anything.
If they have any.
If they have any, because
Well, you know they'll make up
I'm
some
sure.
stuff.
You know,
They'll make up
what I'm
some
saying?
stuff.
Of course.
They'll send the enemy in
But they are.
to make him.
But look, though,
to
they
make him
doing that now.
Nick's been around since he was a teen.
Yeah, he's been around since 17.
17 years old. Now he's in his 40s.
Okay.
He's been around since he was 17, and he was founded by a Jew, by somebody who was Jewish. Is who he was founded by.
So they might say that's offensive.
Is he good or bad?
Nick Cannon?
Yeah.
He's a
good young brother.
Yeah, he's a good dude,
He's
man.
a good
That's caught
young
up in the
brother.
situation. He don't know how to get out of it right now. Let's
He
put it that way.
he's a good young brother
You know what I
who
mean?
loves his people and employ a lot of
Look,
black
and he look out for him.
He looks out for his people.
We love Farrakhan?
Yes, he
Oh,
does.
bro.
Crazy.
He was at the.
He was right there with him when he did the
car.
Criterion. And that's why they coming after
That's
him.
why they coming
It's
after
not
him.
what he and Griff talked about because he kept
That's
referring
not-
to the minister instead of dealing with what
They coming
He
after
said to
Solomon the
upset
God
them?
too, as I heard.
kept
Solomon
Solomon.
the God and Ice Cube and a couple other brothers.
You talking about Steve? You talking about the brother from basketball? You talking about Deshaun Jackson?
Yeah,
There's about 5 or 6 other brothers.
Well, Ice Cube said in No Vaseline, he said it's a case of divide and conquer because you let a Jew wreck up my crew. He said that.
Yeah, but he said
When he-
that in
when he-
reference to what you call
That's
it.
heavy, brother.
When he was-
But it was the truth.
It was the truth because Jerry Heller,
But you know how long ago that was?
90?
You know how long ago that was?
91?
That was in 91. Because Jerry Heller was the one that broke up the crew.
Yep,
He played on Easy
that's right.
and got Easy to go to get along to go away from what they was dealing with the crew. And hell, when Easy found out that he was doing it,
He fired him.
Easy fired him and blacked out on him too.
And I
But then they
think-
took Easy. But then they got Easy out
I
of it.
think Jerry
Yeah.
Heller probably had something to do with Easy death.
Easy death. Because he didn't.
You know, all of a sudden the man died of AIDS.
Right. And then, but
All of a sudden.
what did they use? Easy like women. He was around a lot of women,
But
so they
the
try to
thing-
put that on.
But the thing is that they used that.
That's what they used.
They used that,
so they
but,
set it up.
but none of the women came up with AIDS.
No, none.
So therefore, they must have hit.
Yeah, when he went to the hospital.
They hit him with something.
When he went to the hospital, and then he come out of there no sooner than what? How long afterwards?
I mean, when Easy went to the hospital for a cough, he was dead in 2 weeks.
You follow? I mean, you know, but we can go on and on about
He
this
came to New York. He came to New York.
Yeah.
And that's when him and Q first reunited, and they was going to reunite the group. Called Dre up. Dre said, "Let's do it." They never got to do it because Easy passed away.
Yeah.
But these cats, they'll take you out of here.
Yeah.
But they don't. But when you say this,
Yeah.
that's why I say I'm gonna,
I mean, this is gonna get snatched.
they're gonna take
They
this
gonna take
video
this
down.
This
I know
video
they're
going
take
down.
it down.
They're not gonna. Yeah, they're gonna flag this.
I don't care.
They're gonna flag this.
I don't care.
But we're gonna put it out there, let them get it covered. But as soon as they get it, they sure flagging this one. Wow. Because they don't want that information out there.
And Chuck D said, "Crucifixion ain't no fiction. So-called chosen, frozen. Apologies made to whoever pleases. Still, they got me like Jesus."
Yeah.
That's what they're doing to Nick.
Because
He's doing all these apologies, and still they're gonna have him like Jesus.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Yeah. Yep. And it's so, I mean, you know, and it's crazy
You
because
can't even say stack chips like Hebrews.
yeah, I mean
that.
yeah.
We giving y'all a compliment saying y'all save money.
And
And y'all
tell us we can't use
that's offensive.
Yeah.
We taught that the rich slave makers of the poor.
Yeah, brother.
Their job is to keep us blind, man.
Deaf and dumb, brother.
And when
Deaf
you
and dumb.
tell somebody that you can read, they hold it against you.
They're the ones who say they with us, but they make mockery of
Yeah,
us.
but
right?
As soon as you start coming,
Oh man!
as soon as you start
Oh
coming
man,
hard,
that's great.
as soon as
That's
you start
great.
coming hard,
That's a great sound, there. That's a great sound.
as soon as you start coming
We gonna
hard,